Thank you everyone for coming. As you might have been notified, we are going over calendar settings, different types of calendars, what they're used for, how to integrate them into your sub account and your business, and creating general automations for them. So if you'll just let me share my screen real quick. So first things first, you want to go into your sub account, and then at the home page, you want to scroll all the way at the bottom, go to your settings, then go to calendars. This is where you're going to be creating your calendars, deciding which calendar you want to use, and basically edit whatever settings you want to change. So what we'll do is we'll create a calendar to get started. Now, for these different types of calendars, they have very specific niches. So what we see here is the service calendar, simple calendar, round robin, class booking, and collective booking. One of the more common ones are going to be service, simple, and round robin. So for service, this is perfect for businesses that offer appointments with specific services or resources. Think hair salons, massage therapists, or equipment rentals. You can define services as rooms or even equipments available within this calendar. For the simple calendar, this is your classic one-on-one scheduling option, similar to Calendly, I guess you could say. It allows clients to book appointments directly on a calendar based on your availability. It's great for consultation, coaching calls, and just general sales meetings. For round robin, this is more for your internal team. It distributes appointments evenly amongst your team members, ensuring a fair workload. Perfect for agencies, medical practices, or any business with multiple staff members offering similar services. For class booking, this feature allows you to schedule reoccurring classes or workshops. You can define the class size, set a maximum number of attendees, and even take payments directly through our application. Perfect for fitness studios, educational institutions, or businesses offering group sessions similar to what we're doing right now. Collective booking. This is a powerful tool for teams as well. It creates a shared calendar where multiple team members' schedules are combined. Clients can book appointments within the entire team, ensuring flexibility and maximizing efficiency. Great for consultations, client meetings, or any scenarios where multiple team members might be involved. So for this, let's just do a simple calendar now that we have the rundown of everything. What we'll be greeted with is just very general settings that we need to fill out. Here we have the calendar name. Let's just make it 7/23/2024 dummy calendar. There's our name. And now we need to make a custom URL so that whenever we put this in our funnels, it'll just have a unique URL so that we can share with anyone that we might want to set a meeting with. So let's go with 7/23/24 dummy calendar. Nope. There we go. You want to set the meeting duration to 30 minutes, pretty standard. Booking availability, depending on what your work days are for your business. This is where you would set that. And basically, set the availability of when people can make an appointment. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That sounds good. Meeting location. Now, this is where you would put the URL for, say, Google Meets, where you put the Zoom calls at, so that it will automatically send you to that meeting location. So here, I will make a Google Meet, make a new meeting, create a meeting for later. I will copy this link right here and paste. And there we have our meeting location. Hit confirm. And here we created our first calendar. We have the link and the embedded code as well. We can preview the calendar that we just made.
Wait a minute, Cohen. Oren has a question for you.
Yes, Oren?
Can you use can you use other stuff rather than a URL for the
Uh,
appointment?
Yes, we can add custom values that which are already stored within the account, and you can just put those custom values. So if you go to your custom values, you can copy your meeting locations and then just add that simply, so that you won't have to go to Google Meet or Skype or Zoom every time you create a calendar. You can just put that in. And whenever your meeting location changes in the future, for example, you decide to move from Google Meet over to Skype or to Zoom or to any another software, you can just go within the system, change it on the custom values, and it will be automatically changed.
So I was actually referring to, can it be like a physical location rather than a virtual location, or a phone number, or something else rather than a Google Meet?
Yeah, absolutely. You can input a phone number if you want. You can input your personal, your meeting location, like the physical address of your office, and that's what it will show up.
all right. Moving on, we see here the calendar that we just made. We're at the website that we just made for it, and we have our availabilities, and there we go. We want to close that. Then let's go to, where did it go? Then we want to scroll down to the calendar that we just made, hit the edit button. Here we can add any types of adjustments that we want to make, like the calendar logo, and then changing the name, the description of what the calendar is for, group, custom URL, so on. Create set a color for it as well, because we will be adding this calendar to our funnels, and we kind of want it to be the same color as our website, so it matches the theme. So I would say blue best matches this. We can change the availability here as well, set specific
Rowan,
times. Yes?
can you go back to the meeting details and just go over add in multiple locations, the meeting locations?
Oh, yes. We also have adding multiple locations as well. Say that a client is more comfortable with Zoom or whatever online location, or maybe even a physical location as well. You can add these as well for other options that they can use. We have availability, thing, specific details. Here we have forms and payments. This is a new setting as well, the widget order. So whenever creating a funnel, you have your forms and your calendar. The forms takes the information from the client and basically setting it to where you know who is setting the appointment with you and for what time. So what this setting does is that it sets the order of whether the form comes first or the calendar. So for this, we obviously want the form so that in case they change their mind later on, we still have their information. Next, we have notifications and additional options. Pretty standard. Connections. Mustafa, do you want to go over the connections tab?
Yeah, can you just click on the link to calendar with the drop down? All right. So over here, you can select which calendar will be synced with the dummy calendar, so that it will check in the main calendar, which it will be connected to see if there are any prior bookings or if there are any time slots which are available or not available. And that way, only the time slots which are available will be shown on the dummy calendar. You can have multiple calendars made within the OverPower Marketing software, and those calendars can be connected to the same main calendar. So, for example, if you type in Mustafa, Mustafa. So over here, you have Mustafa at overpowermarketing.com. I can create multiple calendars for myself for multiple different uses. And then all of them will be connected to the main one, which would be Mustafa at overpowermarketing.com. And all of these calendars will check with the main calendar to see what time slots am I available at. So this is the reason you would connect your main calendar. So you can just select Mustafa at overpowermarketing.com. Just click on it. Yeah. And now within the options, you have the one-way option, the one-way sync, and the two-way sync. So what the one-way does is whenever an appointment has been booked on the dummy calendar, it will also mark that same time slot off on the main calendar, which was Mustafa at overpowermarketing.com. But if you select two-way, The only added benefit of that would be that whenever I open my personal or my professional calendar, which is Mustafa at overpowermarketing.com, directly from the Chrome tab, and I create an appointment, that the person that I create an appointment with, that person's email ID will be added to the system as a new contact, or it will check whether that contact exists within the system or not. If it doesn't, it will create a new contact. And if it does, good. Either way, it will then start off firing the automations for automated appointment reminders and so on and so forth. So over here, the recommended way is to go one way. But if you think that you'll be using your personal or your professional calendar by itself, then you should also select two-way. So over here, just select one way. Yeah.
And next we have customization. Similar to in the meeting details, we can select the cover image, the widget style, the colors, and so on. And that is it for your general calendar settings.
Will you be going over an example of it, how the calendar is being used?
Yes, we will in a moment. All right, Mustafa, would you like to go over the integration and the automations we'll be using?
Absolutely. All right, let's start off with this. I already explained it, but I would like to go into a little bit further detail as well. So is my screen visible?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So whenever we go into the calendar settings, or what you can do is also you can go to my staff, you can select the staff member. So I was in my own account, I selected myself. I went to the calendar configuration just to see what the options over there are. And then since I'm not logged in as my user email, I'm logged in as the admin email. I'm just going to click on the advanced settings just to understand a little bit more about what's the difference between a the one-way sync and the two-way sync. So as it says over here, the one-way sync are so within the one-way sync, events from the linked calendar are synced back as blocked slots, and no contacts are created for the guests. So all the guests which are being created using the one-way sync on the main calendar, which would be, if I go over here, just give me one second, calendar. So this is my professional calendar. If there are any appointments, if I make any appointment over here, for example, what the one-way sync will do is it will block off this 8 to 9 a.m. time slot with the one-way sync. But by using the two-way sync, if I create this one, if I selected this one and I select my book an appointment with Mustafa Shahid, yes. All right, so if I select the two-way sync over here, what this will do is whenever I create, so on the screen, if I select the two-way sync over here instead of the one-way, and I go back to my main calendar, if I create a appointment, let's say meeting with a random guest, someone who just wanted to talk to me, I go over here, I create that. Now, if I add a guest over here, which is not already within the system, within the OverPower marketing system, as soon as I type in an email address over here, let's say dummy@gmail.com. As soon as I click this one and I save it, this person is supposed to be added within the system as well. And then the system will check if that dummy@gmail.com type person is already within the system or not. If it's not, it will create a new and it will create it as a new contact. And if it already exists, nothing will be done. But the best part is that the automation that I have created for this calendar, it will be triggered for that particular guest. So that's the reason that you might use two-way sync instead of the one-way sync. But since I don't have any particular use case in which I'll need to manually go in within the calendar and create a new appointment and add guests manually, for me, it would be better if I just choose this one. So that is the only reason why you would choose one or the other. So cancel that. Moving on to the automations. Share this tab. Now, over here, I have just selected a simple recipe, which is the appointment confirmation and the reminder. What it does is whenever someone makes an appointment, it will send them in a confirmation email. Over here, I can choose which email, which calendar I'm talking about or which calendar I want it to fire off as. So I just select which calendar, what was it. Let's find the one that Bowen created. I don't think that he has activated it. So let's just say, book an appointment. Oh, dummy says 180. So yeah, appointment with dummy calendar 618 over here. I don't need this one. I can just say event type is, yeah, any. So for example. All right. So whenever an appointment has been made in the dummy calendar 618, it will send the person who made the appointment a confirmation email. Then 24 hours before the appointment, it will send out another reminder email. 1 hour before, it will send out another email. And 5 minutes before, it will send out another email. Now, within this simple automation, we have multiple different things that we can do as well. So in the triggers, if I go over here, I can select another filter, and by the filter, I can say appointment status. Now, what are the statuses? For that, let me just show you the screen. Over here, we have different people that have created appointments with us on different places. So over here, we have different statuses for each appointment that we have. So the first one is confirmed, the second one is showed or no show, canceled or invalid. So what we can do with this automation is that it will only work off if the appointment status is confirmed, or we can do it for if the people have been no show, if the people did show up, or if the people have canceled. So this way we'll have four more optionalities or four more options on which we can utilize the workflows or automations on what to do. So whenever a person puts an appointment, an automation can be fired off. If the person shows up to the appointment, a different automation will be fired off. If the person doesn't show up to the appointment, a different automation will be fired off. And if the person just goes ahead and cancels it, a different automation can be fired off. So that's the basic workflows regarding the calendars. And yeah, I think that covers that. Now, apart from this, one of the few things that I just wanted to talk about regarding calendars is that within the system, one major change is planned to be released sometime soon or maybe in the next quarter, which is that we can add a time frame. All right, so how should I say this? We can add a time frame in which the option of canceling or rescheduling will be allowed, but after that, the rescheduling or the cancellation of an appointment will not be allowed. So that can be used for people who have either classes or people who offer on-ground services or people who have a busy schedule and they don't want people to cancel 5 minutes before the appointment. So it's a great functionality for such people. Then regarding the things that have been recently been completed is the one that Owen showed you, in which you can choose to have the form first. So the form is filled first, and then the appointment has been booked. So that if the person doesn't want to book an appointment, at least you have their contact information. Apart from that, you can show them multiple different meeting locations. One of them could be the phone number, so they can call you. Another one could be your physical address, so they can just reach to your office. Another could be your Google, Skype, Zoom, whichever software you want to use. So yeah, so quite a few updates have been made into the calendars. Now, Govind, would you mind showing the functionality of how the calendar would work? So just the calendar that you just created, if an appointment has been made, how it will show up on the calendar. All right, now my screen is being shared. Perfect. So I just chose the dummy calendar, which was 6/18/2024. I opened its permanent link, which has been opened up right now. And if I go back over here, so if I go back to here, I go to calendars, I choose a particular calendar, which would be the 6/18 calendar. All right, now share this tab instead. I would choose a dummy name, let's say Mufasa, which is my nickname. Mufasa King, since it came from Lion King. My phone number would be 031 Mustafa at the Mustafa Mufasa. Yeah, that's the name I was chosen. Lion King. So gmail.com and any additional, yeah, this is a test. I confirm that I want to receive content from this company using any contact information I provide. I continue with that. And then I choose on for Thursday, let's say 9 p.m. Confirm. So as soon as what I'm trying to hope is that as soon as I create an appointment over here, it will show that appointment. All right, so I have the appointment time, the date and the duration. I have the meeting location. I can add them personally to my Google Calendar, the Outlook Calendar, or the iCloud Calendar, whichever one I use. Now I'm hoping it will show up over here. So let me just refresh the screen over here. So you can check all the calendars and all the people who are associated with calendars over on this page, the calendar page, to see which or how many people have different appointments throughout the week. So yeah, here I have it. So I have an appointment with Mufasa King on the 25th July 2024. According to the accounts time zone, which is CDT, it will be on 11 a.m. to 11:30, the meeting location, and so on and so forth. So if you go into your account, you can just click on calendars, and over here you have the optionality on selecting multiple calendars if you want to see. So 618, 723, I can just add more and more to see a combined view of how many appointments I have, or I can just go over to the users and I can click on either myself or I can click on other people just to see what kind of week or day will I be having regarding the meetings. Then I can choose either day, week, month. I can choose all appointments or the blocked slots. Yeah. So yeah, here I have it. I have different meetings throughout the day, and this is how it will be shown on my calendar. I hope that answers all your questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to do so. Yeah, Oren.
So it does show up on your calendar, like your actual calendar that you view every day, not inside of the software.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I open my calendar, if I open my own personal calendar, which I don't want to show you over here right now, it shows up on my calendar that I have an appointment with Mufasa King at July 25. I can view that on my phone. I can view that on my laptop. I can view that on my personal Google Calendar as well. Not as well. Yeah, directly over there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and does it check if you have appointments on your calendar too?
Does it check for conflicts? Is that what you're asking?
I guess yes.
All right. So what
Basically,
did
does it check to see if there's any calendars already booked onto your Google Calendar or Outlook calendar, whatever it might be? And then also, can you use multiple calendars? Like, let's say you have a calendar for your business, and then you have a calendar for personal use. Can you use multiple calendars to check?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just show you where you would find that. So if you go into the settings, my stuff, since I'm talking about myself, I just choose my own settings. Please load up. In order to tell you what Oren means is that if I have multiple calendars that I'm working with, and there already exists an appointment for 25th of July and my entire day has been booked, will it double book it or will it just not show that slot on the calendar itself? Please ignore the picture. Moving on to the calendar configuration. Over here, I have connected two of my personal calendars. The one is the professional calendar, which I have for my work related stuff, which is Mustafa at overpowermarketing.com. The other one is my personal calendar, which I've added, Mustafa Shahid 38 at the rate gmail.com. So what this does is I can log in as my user account, and then I can add as many calendars as I want. That option would be shown over here with a button which would have a plus symbol, and it would say add new, and you can add as many calendars as you want. Then you will select one of your calendar, which would be the main calendar it will connect with, and then it will, all the other calendars that you have added, it will check against them to see if any of those other calendars do not have a conflicting booking slot. So for example, if there's a slot for the 26th of July, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. has been booked off on my personal calendar, that slot will not be shown on the main calendar that I just showed. So for example, if I go over here, go back, share this tab. Again, I just entered my FASA, not the thing. So if this calendar has been linked with my main calendar, and for, let's say, on the 26th of July, if the slot 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. slot is already booked on my secondary or tertiary calendar, this slot will not be shown over here. So all you need to do is you need to go within your account, within your settings, and just add as many calendars as you want, so that your main calendar over here, so that your main calendar will only show up the free slots from all the connected calendars. Does that answer your question, Oren?
Yes, thank you so much. That's very helpful.
All right, perfect. Is there any other question from any other members?
Well, I still have one more question, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You know I love your questions.
So one thing that I noticed while you were doing the example was the URL for the calendar link showed like api.overpowermarketing.com/whatever the URL is, which is great for, Overpower Marketing, but can I make it link to my domain instead? Rather, let's say, for example, Mr. Powell, he has a company called Pensa Beach. Can I make the link say, let's say, pensabeach.com/calendar? Is that still possible, or does it have to be Overpower Marketing?
All right, now that is, although that is a very straight ball that you've thrown at me, and I do know that it is possible, but at this current moment, I don't remember how to do that, to be very honest. And I'm sure that you do, and you're just testing me. So,
Okay, sounds good. Yes, you can. You just go under domain, go under settings
yeah.
on your account, and then you go to domains and add whatever your domain is. So that way it will show up as your domain that you want it to show up on, rather than whatever overpowermarketing.com/whatever it would be. If you do it that way, then it'll say again.
Yeah, since the agency is by default the provider, so only when you add your personal domain, then your domain will be shown up.
Correct.
See, I knew that, but I wasn't exactly confirmed. So I didn't want you to stray off course and then have Oren come in and then tell me what the proper answer would have been. So
Totally fine. Thank you.
Any other questions? And I'm going to stop sharing before Oren has any more questions. Instead, I'll show my great face, which is going to show, oh, yeah, here it is. So does anyone has any more questions? Either Christina, Diane, or Misty, or even Mr. Jeff?
No questions today.
Hey, Christina.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Doing very well.
Good.
Hey, Mr. Jeff.
Christina's got a question. She's going to try to stump you.
Oh, no questions. I was just playing along today, seeing if it was something we'd be able to utilize here at TNT.
Although Oren had a question, he just raised his hand and then he lowered. Yeah, there it is.
All right, yes, so I actually do not know this answer, but I figured this might be helpful to know. Since you were looking at updates for the future, did you see any type of update where you can book a select time period? So for, like, let's say a condo, for example, or a hotel, or for a set period of time that the the user can actually select. Did you happen to see anything about that? I have no idea. That's what I was wondering.
I don't think I understand your question properly. In the way calendars are working is the user selects the time on their own. So that's already
Correct.
happening.
But let's talk about, like, let's say you're trying to book a hotel or book an apartment for a select time period. So maybe I want to book for over the weekend, and I want to do it from Friday until Monday. Let's say that. Am I able to do that in the software? If not, do you see that coming up in the near future?
I think that's applicable, that's possible by using the service calendar. So for example, let me show you that. So regarding the new updates that have been came to overpowermarketing.com recently, the one which says the service calendar, this is the one that has been used for service-based businesses, for example, hair salons and auto shops and repair shops and things like that. And within this, you can have like rooms and equipments and groups and everything. So yeah, I think the possibility exists. However, we'll need to just take a deeper dive into it and then select and then understand how to create it. So by that, what I mean is, for example, if you can have like groups of different rooms, or you can go into the rooms and make the rooms. So yeah, I think the possibility exists, and yes, we might be able to do that. And if it doesn't, we can talk to the developer team and have that sorted out. But I think it already exists. Since I never had to do something like that for a client or for testing out, I'm not exactly sure. But since now you just mentioned it, this is something I can work on. And as soon as I find an answer to it, I can get back to you regarding it. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
All right, perfect. Anything else? One of the main things about these meetings is that I don't always have all the answers, or me and Oren and Cohen don't always have all the answers. So if we get across any question that we don't know the answer to, we just write it down, we research on it, we try to make it happen. And when we do have an answer to it, we reach out back to the person who asked the question and have that particular thing resolved, or at least have an update to it. So if you have any questions about calendars or bookings of any sort, you can just let us know. And if you think that you don't want to, if you think that you don't have anything right now, but you will have in the future, again, I will need to share my screen for that. What I'm about to tell you, which I'm pretty sure that everyone already knows, but if you don't, you can just go to the main dashboard area or the main account area, and then you can just scroll down. You can schedule a meeting with either me, Mr. Jeff, or Oren, or you can just submit a request and fill out whatever your thought processes are. My personal preference is to book a meeting with me, while Oren's preference is to submit a request. So if you want to have like a brainstorming session, you can book a meeting with me, and then we can go over what your idea is and how we can make it happen. So yep, that covers everything that we had on our plate. I hope this has been an informational workshop for you all, and I'll hope to see all of you in the next Tuesday workshop session as well. By the way, in which we will be covering advanced workflows and all the new workflows or the unique workflows we have been working on over the past 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, and anything we'd like to share on that. So if you have anything to ask about automations, or if we can do this, or how to do that, or if you have any sort of a brainstorming question regarding automations or workflows, feel free to be on that call next Tuesday, and we can discuss those things directly over there. Apart from that, I hope you all have a great week, and see you next Tuesday.